This is another How Church Media Works production, once again showing you powerful ways to get more people listening to your message today. Here's your host, Chad Gleaves and Sean Morales. Hey, this is Chad and Sean with How Church Media Works, and what are we going to be talking about today?
Today we want to talk to you about the importance of church media and how we can use it to outreach and how we can use it to better our church.
You know, I'm often reminded, there's this big sea of internet, and so we wonder why even put out our messages online. And the whole goal of our ministry here at How Church Media Works is to get more people looking at your message. Does that mean that's more as in 10? For some of your churches, that's going to be it could be a 25% increase. But percentage-wise, getting more means you're reaching more people for Christ. And our goal is that 100% of America, 100% of the world would be reached for Christ. Now, we can't go out there and do that necessarily, but what we can do is encourage churches like you to come along and start streaming their message. Yes. To start putting it on YouTube, to start putting topics and stuff out there. And if we encourage, let's say 100 churches to start doing this, and they impact 10 people per church, I mean, we're talking about 1,000 people impacted for the name of Christ and for the cause of Christ. And so that's our goal today. We just want to talk about that and how that could happen if you decided to get into church media with your church and stuff. And so I think the first aspect that needs to be understood is this randomness of the internet. The internet is not all random because Google controls it. There's a lot of gateways there. And from my education in this area, you used to be able to manipulate those rankings. Google has kind of shut that down as of April of 2012, and there is ways to manipulate the rankings, but it's not near as easy as it used to be. So with that said, there is a randomness because somebody besides you is deciding who sees that content. So just to kind of clarify what I'm talking about, if you put out a video, the first question you're going to have is who's going to see it, and the answer that we have is we don't know. But that's the great thing about it, is because if you remember, God honors that in Scripture. I don't know if this is popular or not, but it seems like through all Scripture, anytime we put something to random, to chance, I'm not talking about gambling, I'm talking about the work of the Lord. When they picked the apostles, they put it to chance, if you remember that. Who was going to be the apostle? And God honored that and picked the apostle through that. Well, in many ways, that's the way it is with video. When we put it out there, we put out a video or we put out a Facebook post, there's a randomness to it that God can use for His glory. Now, there's definitely ways we can improve the readership. Mm-hmm. Okay, there are ways, and we get into that deeper in our membership site. We don't have time now, but there are ways to really drive traffic to that. So I'm not saying that that's the only way. I want to talk to you about reasons to get into it, and one of the reasons is the randomness. The second thing is that Google is changing some stuff. If you type in something right now, Sean, Google is gearing itself towards local searches. So if you've established yourself as a local church, and you've let Google know that through putting your address on your page, setting up a Google Plus page and pointing it back and putting an address there, and setting up your Places page, your Google Plus page, all that stuff will tell them you're local. Google is more likely to show local searches to local people, which is good for you because you can reach your people in your area.
Yes.
Now, with that said, Sean, you have some reasons that people should be using church media as an outreach tool. Why don't you go into that?
Well, let me tell you, Chad, in the past 2 months, we had our website, our church website, blow up. We over doubled the amount of people that we drove to our website. A number of people that's bigger than the amount of people that go to our church on a regular Sunday basis, Sunday morning service. How's that possible? And what's that mean to us? Well, that means we got to reach more people that walked through our doors in our community. We have people, of course, we don't see names or anything who walk into our website, but we can see that beyond the reach of the walls of our church, we were reaching people with our message. And we did a special week and or a special month, and we used that month to drive traffic to our website. We had people handing out wristbands with our church website on it, and driving them to our website so they could see what was going on that month and see these special videos that we were putting up. Not only did that drive them to our website to see those special videos, but now they get to find out more about our church staff. They get to see my pastor's sermons online. There's a sermon tab where they could click and begin to listen to sermons if they've missed a service or if they haven't been to a service, or they just want to check out, man, what is this pastor like? Is this a church I want to be a part of? And now we've just brought in a lot more people that haven't ever stepped into the doors of our church, possibly, into knowing, possibly in finding out about Christ in a new way. So church media is a big thing, and it is a very productive and meaningful thing, and something that's worth putting your time into.
And so getting into this, you didn't know what kind of results you were going to get.
No.
But just by putting solid, tried and true effort into your site, into your Facebook, getting the message out, you ended up with good results.
Right.
And you didn't just rely on just one avenue. You used every avenue that you possibly could. I love the bracelets because that's more of a traditional way of advertising.
Right.
But it still works.
Right.
Just because we have Facebook doesn't mean that we can't use the stuff that was working 15 years ago.
What I put into practice was many of the things, Chad, that we show on our website with our paid membership. We used Facebook, and we integrated different aspects of Facebook and used different avenues of Facebook to impact the growing of the site, pages and personal pages and groups. We used every different avenue in Facebook that we teach on our website to grow the traffic to our website.
Well, that's good stuff. I'm excited for y'all guys because y'all's total church attendance is around 100, 120.
Right, about 100.
On Sunday morning. And so the amount of people you told me 250 people,
right,
unique visitors that month that you
right.
Now, some of you may be thinking, well, that's kind of small, but let's talk percentages here. We're talking about a 250% increase, if my math skills are any good here, over what you normally have at your church. So that
right.
means you reached that much more. 250 people you wouldn't have reached otherwise.
Right.
And so you are outside the doors of your church and you're reaching
right.
people. I love that.
Right. And again, this isn't in a large community. We're in a very small community. Our town of Addington has less than 100 people population. So this was spanning our town and reaching surrounding towns. And I can look at our analytics and see that the towns surrounding us were the ones that were really hitting big on this website. So our people passing it through Facebook, our people passing it through wristbands and just talking about it grew our site immensely, not just for numbers' sake, but for kingdom's sake. Them being able to find out what's going on at our church, the different events we're having as they see our calendar and listen to even the podcast and sermon downloads that we offer on our website.
All right, just as Sean said, we do go into more detail on the membership site. And the reason, let me just say real quick, the reason we have a membership site is, first of all, to allow us to continue this ministry. We can't do it for free. The second reason is that we have a membership site is that we can't go into the amount of detail. I mean, we literally have hours and hours of videos that explain church media that would just take too long to go into right now. So if you want more information on how to improve, to start, or to continue your church ministry, hit up our membership site at howchurchmediaworks.com, and you can sign up there and get in the in-depth tutorials. Thanks for watching this video tip from How Church Media Works. If you want more in-depth tutorials, check us out, How Church Media Works, and we will give you literally a ton of step-by-step tutorials for a monthly membership. You can become a member of our site, and we'll even give you a 7-day trial for $7. That's all it'll cost. If you don't like it, cancel. No additional charges. If you like it, we will charge you $29 a month for unlimited access to all of our videos, and that includes your team at the church. If you have a group of guys or ladies there at the church that want to go through this training, simply just hook them up with the username and password and send them on over, and they can go through that same training and just save you hours of time trying to train your team members.